what about this build has changed the way you do things? Has it?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's interesting. After I left TerraFlex, and just over the past 2 years in general, there's been a lot of stuff in my personal life, losing friends and having a lot of life changes that shook me up pretty bad, anxiety wise, like social anxiety wise, and even just building in general became really difficult for me. I would small things would overwhelm me, and I kind of had the goal of if I could just find somebody to pay me to build them cool stuff all day, that's what I would do. That's what I do, man. I got this really weird idea in my head of what I am and what my business is and what I do versus what was actually happening. And it actually wasn't until I was interviewing with Miller that I said that out loud. And then I watched it later on and I was like, dude, that's what you do for a living. That's what that is. You build cool stuff for a living. You find really cool people that want cool stuff, that are willing to pay for a certain quality, and that's what you get to do. So being able to work on this Jeep over the past year, this hasn't been my 100% focus. Being a one-man show, you have to be able to juggle a little bit and put stuff in here and there, work into the schedule to where you can crank a quick job out for somebody, because if you shut your doors completely for a year, when you open them back up a year later for somebody else, there's nobody at the door.
Yeah.
So to be able to find somebody patient enough to work with me and to trust me with the vision of the build and the execution of the build, and not micromanage, and just kind of, obviously you want to check in, you want to give updates and stuff like that, so that you're not leaving them in the lurch. But the owner of this build was looking for somebody for quite a while to do a build like this for him, and he was cool enough to let me do it. But the biggest thing over the past year that I've learned was that this is the funnest thing in the world. In my mind, to me, building something this unique and this fun is its own reward. It's not something that I'm going to get rich at doing, because I'm totally fine wasting time for no money on something that really means a lot to me. This one little detail I'll sit there and go off on, and I don't expect people to have to pay for that. But once it's done and I can stand back and look at it and go, yes, that worked out perfect. And when the right person sees it, not everybody's going to notice it, and it's kind of heartbreaking when you put stuff into that and somebody comes along.
But the right people are going to notice.
But the right people will notice it, and when they do,
that threw me.
Yeah.
That surprised me more than once.
Yeah.
On just its fundamental, the way it's put together.
Totally.
And it went right into what you're trying to do.
Totally. When somebody asks the right question, and you get to this,
mm-hmm.
and they appreciate it, and they, when it clicks with them chemistry wise, to me that it's absolutely thrilling.
Yeah, and during the live video that we were shooting, I mean, it really does. That thing, as a Jeep guy, I've grown up in a Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
I was 4 months old, riding around with my family at Sand Mountain, Utah,
mm-hmm.
and it's I don't know a day of life without a Jeep.
Yeah.
Right? And that thing speaks to my soul. It really does, because it's to me it's the ideal Jeep, because it's still true to its legacy, but yet it possesses all the best parts that it could have.
Totally. And I like the word that you use, soul. There's something that the newer Jeeps get, and the more up to date they get, and the crazier they get as far as bolting things onto them and throwing color at them and throwing wraps on them and stuff like that. They do get louder, but they lose a soul. When you see an old Jeep that just rumbles on, no matter how beat up or dented or whatever, when they roll up, you just feel it. It just speaks to you.
Right.
You just want to go over and spend time with it. Whether it's get in it. You want to look at the dents and the dings. You want to, and it's not that you're picking it apart. Every dent
feeling
is a story.
that energy.
Yeah, you're feeling that energy. It has character. It's got soul to it. When you put too much junk and too much plastic on a Jeep, in my mind, in my opinion, you're stealing from it. You're taking away its soul. You're taking away the character. You're not adding to it. It's not something that I can really quantify. Like, when is it too much? When did you tip the scales? But my theory
it's a
is
case by case basis.
Totally. And my theory is like, the more palatable Chrysler tries to make a Jeep for the masses, the more character they're going to take away from it, right? Mm-hmm. And it's something that you have to eventually play that even road where you don't piss off people and you don't make everybody happy, but they're all kind of in that gray area,
But here's the difference I can see. Mm-hmm. No other brand, no other vehicle ever built can do what the Jeep is doing, to where you can take any Jeep. You can take a new JK or a JL or
totally.
Whatever,
yeah.
and you can minimalize it to what you want.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
Where you can't take a Mercedes and bring it down.
Totally.
That's not its
world. Not going to happen.
Where a Jeep can be whatever you want it to be.
Absolutely. And I always backpedal and go back and say, like, I have nothing against JKs. I drove one for 2 years with TerraFlex. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. There's nothing against the new JL. I think it's great. Every Jeep on the road is going to have its own flair to it. Like you said, you can take a Jeep and make it anything you want. There is no deeper aftermarket in the auto industry than Jeep, period. There's no competition whatsoever. There's more people customizing Jeeps out there than any other car. But I think that's because you get to make it your own and you get to do whatever you want with it. And to me, that's so much fun. It's so much fun. This style, in my mind, the old military Jeep, the rust red primer look, the olive drab look, just the old metal boys, like, they will always possess something that the JKs and the JLs and anything with a square headlight is just not gonna quite get there, And it's nothing against them. Like, if that's your jam, dude, that's your jam. Rock it. Some people are into funk, some people are into death metal.
Yeah.
Rock it either way and be happy about it. But like, funk and death metal will never be the same, and they'll never have the same elements, and you can pick it apart. It's just whatever you're into. But this, to me, is that, I don't know if you'd classify it as the death metal group, but this to me is that character, that soul.
No, this is
all kind of craving.
This is the Glenn Miller band, right?
There you go.
For a lot of reasons, this is the Glenn Miller band.
I like that.
I still love the Glenn Miller. Grew up on it.
Yeah.
I'm a little young to like the Glenn Miller, but
yeah.
But one thing, as for us as Jeep freaks, is we recognize, what this is, but we also recognize the passion that a lot of people have, and I think that's different about us as well. As we, that's why we're here. We want to talk to you about this. I don't think any other social media group's going to come in and want to talk about a Jeep that they don't really fully understand.
Totally.
Where I get it.
Totally.
That's
like, and that's again, like, back to the same stuff. Like we were talking earlier, the gear on this, there's no outstanding like parts. Like, you can when building a custom Jeep, a lot of people get caught up in the budget, and they get caught up in the, what can I throw at it? Can I bolt an LS in it? Can I get a 572 in that sucker? Can I, like, what 60s can we put in it? Can we get some Spider 9s in it? Like, all those things are awesome. Don't get me wrong. Like, and I would put those in a buggy too, because that's my jam. But this is not built for hardcore off-road guys. This is built for one dude who had a specific list of things that he wanted to do, and having monster 40s or 42s or 60s or a V8 None of those things were on his list. He wanted it quiet. He wanted it chill. He wanted it understated. He didn't want it noisy inside or out. He wanted it to be super smooth. He wanted to go through a machine car wash and not get a leak on the inside. Mm-hmm. He never wanted it to have an electrical problem. He never wanted it, that's what he wanted. He wanted to be able to pull it in the back of a very specific trailer that he built, or his coach, and fit in this teeny little garage in the back of this coach. So end to end, 120 inches was mandatory. There's no debate. It needs to be this big. Mm-hmm. So we had to operate off of that, but then outside of those 5 things, it was limitless. It was just then put your artist flair on it, put your spin on it. So to me, it was, all the Willys badges and, the CJ grill or the CJ3A grill and, the smooth steely wheels. That's not stuff that he had an opinion on. He just trusted that I knew what I was doing, and we went from there. So it was really fun, and he's such a charismatic guy. I wish he could be here with us to talk, but yeah,
we'll meet him.
He's such a charismatic guy, just all love and just light. He's really fun.
So I mean, when you said something that kind of hit me a little bit. When there's no parts on this Jeep that really stand out, right? Think back to the original Jeep. It didn't have massive power. It didn't have this is.
It's not a monster truck.
No, but the parallels are astonishing.
That's what we're after.
Even though they're average components, they will still give more than the sum of their parts.
That's what we're hoping for, man. If I can have people look at it, and I don't want people to look at it and go, is that a Dana 30? Or is that a 44? Why didn't you go 60? To me, keep walking, man. There's plenty of Jeeps with 60s down the road. If it's at a show, you can want 60s. Awesome, because they're great. Of course, who doesn't want 60s? But if you're building a Willys, if you're building something that, we talked earlier, where did we get the name Project Hawkeye? Everybody, if you haven't watched MASH, you need to watch MASH and get right in your life. Find yourself.
Get centered.
Get centered. Get centered. If you're a MASH fan, Hawkeye on Honeycutt, are the boys that the whole thing centers around. When we were trying to get a feel artistically for the Jeep, this dude, like I said, he's not a hardcore dyed-in-the-wool Jeeper. He can't look at a grill and go, that's a 3A, that's an M38, that's a whatever. He's not going to look at it and be able to identify a grill because that's not his world. Mm-hmm. So when I was trying to okay, well, Willys can mean a lot of things. You want, an M38 or a 2A or 3A, and he was like, I want a Willys. I'm like, something that Hawkeye and Honeycutt would be proud to ride it. And he's like, there you go. That's what I want. And so that was... Immediately, I was like, all right, we're going to channel as much of those boys into this whole build as we can. But when people walk past it, I want them to be able to see that soul and see the balance and see the cleanliness and see I want people that appreciate the way brake lines are routed over how much money do you have to put in your motor? How much money do you have to put in your axles? That stuff, again, it's all great, but I really wanted it to be super clean and super, super OCD, and once it was all done, it's not going to be anything that screams at you. But for the guys that are subtle, for the guys that really like the nitty gritty and the soul of what being a Jeeper is, those are the boys I want walking around it. Those are the guys that I want to have conversation with.
Yeah, absolutely.